is Jeff Crosman, and I'm one of the product managers here at SP Marketplace. Welcome to this product demonstration of our SP Marketplace Contract Tracker. Contract Tracker is designed for small to mid-sized businesses looking for a centralized place to develop, track, maintain, and store business contracts on their already owned and paid for Microsoft 365 tenant. Contract Tracker is built natively using Microsoft SharePoint and integrates the latest in Microsoft's Power Platform applications for forms and process automations. And the best part, it's 99% customizable, so you're in control of the look and feel as well as functionality. Translated, this means if you have an experienced IT team or want SP Marketplace to assist, the product can be customized to meet your current needs and expand to meet future needs. Contract Tracker and all of its data is located on your Microsoft 365 tenant and accessible by you, even if you no longer utilize the SP Marketplace subscription and support services. Contract Tracker is integrated into your Microsoft ecosystem and is not housed on a third-party server for which you have no or little control over. Flexibility within your existing tenant gives you more power and autonomy with Contract Tracker. Let's take a detailed look at the product. When a user first logs into the site, they'll land on a main entry page. Contract Tracker utilizes role-based permissions to allow for easy governance and site security. Depending upon what permission group a user is in, they will be presented with a different navigational menu as well as what we call promoted links on the page. If you're a standard user, you'll see the following page, which includes the ability to create and manage your own service requests, view and search active contracts. You'll have a quick window into any service requests that you have submitted and brief information on the status of those service requests. So for instance, if you put in, please terminate any and all contracts for this particular company, you can see very quickly the status, if it's been assigned to somebody, who it's been assigned to, the category, and what priority was placed on it. So that you don't have to manage this and wonder what is happening, you can quickly get a view here. The other area of the page is you'll see an events page. This can be utilized by the development side or staff, whoever is in the staff group, to add events, manage events that may be important for you as an end user to know. If we look at the service request, this is developed in the Power Apps, Canvas Apps form, and you will be able to see that you can enter a title, new contract, select a category. These categories can be added to, updated, changed, whatever fits your organization or company model. Say this is for a general inquiry. They can put in, it will automatically default to the requester's name that is creating the ticket. They can choose a department that they're in. Maybe they're an executive. They can set a priority. Again, all of these drop downs are customizable by you. We give you full control over that. If there's an attachment, you can just attach it here. If there's a new contract, sometimes there may be an opportunity where you're putting in a new contract and you want to upload the contract for review. You can certainly set that and upload the file. If it's related to perhaps another contract that's already in the system, this field will search the existing contracts library and can be noted within the service request on the back end when the staff analyzes your request. So if this is sales, they could do that and they can view the document and it'll bring up the actual document if it was here. This particular form, it will show up in the My Service Requests area here. An end user can also view active contracts. Active contracts can be sorted by folders, or they can just be in the overall top level root. Within the active contracts library, we utilize standard SharePoint search features whereby an end user can search based on a word, or if they know the title of a document, they would just put the list up here and it would present the document. All documents in this stage will show an expiration date, when it was modified, and modified by, so that the end user knows that this is a current active contract based on the expiration date. Now, if you're a contract staff group and in a member of that particular group, you'll get presented with a whole different level of page, which is this. This particular area, as you'll notice, adds additional features here, as well as navigational menu additions. If you are part of the staff portal, this particular promoted link will light up. If you're in the admin group, this particular one will light up. So we utilize standard SharePoint groups, owner, visitor, members. Those can be anybody that you want to put in that, as well as Microsoft 365 groups that you could add in. So if you are in the staff portal or group, you will land on this page. This is where the full development of the contract and management of the contract takes place. All of the side navigation menu, if you're in the owner group, this will all show up. If you're just in the staff or the development, contract management development, then admin will not show up. So let's look at what the staff can see and how to develop a contract. So if you're in the proper permission group, you'll have access to the contract development library and other areas of the site and be able to create and manage contracts and view all contracts that are in various stages based on their status. Let's take a look at the contract development library. In this library, you'll notice this is where all of the contracts that are in development or have been approved, this is the repository. Based on this contract status, all contracts can again be either added to folders for easy segregation and finding, or they can just be set here as individual documents. All contracts start in the in development status. You can create a new contract. You can either upload one in Word if you have already templates that you use, or you have a new contract that you're developing in Word, you can upload it here, or you can utilize the standard SharePoint option and set your own templates. You can add a template here. You can, if you were going to create a new contract and you wanted to add from a new template, you could just put it in and it would bring up a template that was already stored in your SharePoint environment. Let's take a look at one of them that's already been uploaded, and we'll just look at building security contract. When we open the form, you'll notice that we've provided that all of the functionality and development areas are right at your fingertips. As you look at this form, you can see that we've entered building security contract. It all starts in the in development stage, and we'll talk through these different stages in a moment. What's the type of contract? We have out of the box information and types that are already entered. Again, this is fully customizable by you, and you're free to put in whatever matches your business model. In this case, it's a maintenance agreement. When's the start date, the review date, and the end date? The review date is really critical because whatever date is input in this field will send an email to the contract owner letting them know that this particular contract is coming up for expiration and needs review. So a notification will automatically go out based on this date. And again, from a custom standpoint, if you wanted to change this date and you got an email on the 15th and you said, I needed another 4 days because I can't get to it, then you just change this date and the system will send another email on that date. This is a automatic renewal contract, so you can click the slider and it just simply denotes that this one is set for automatic renewal, but it may still need to be reviewed. You can set the contract period. We have a couple of the out of the box. Again, set it however makes sense for your business model. A contract value, a contract number, or there is a contract number that you want to reference. This is just a text field. And as we go across, what's the department? Same thing, you can choose. We have out of the box options. Contract summary is just a quick hitting note and a description. Down below is where you can add a party, a milestone, any log that pertains to this contract, any notes, and so forth. So if we looked at a party right now, you have a general tab, so that here it is. This is NABM Security and their information, their address, who's the main contact, and if there is a secondary contact. You can edit this and make all changes to that party from within this form, or you can add a new party. Milestones. Similarly, we could add a new milestone here, and you could put in whatever the title is. Maybe it is a payment, what the status is, priority. When is that payment due? Let's say July 1st, the start date. The due date would be a week before, so we'll say June 24th. And if there's a review or not of that particular milestone. if this is a payment, and you can assign it to anybody that you would like for that milestone to be responsible for. So in this case, it may be your HR department and somebody in HR that they need to know that this has to be paid. You can save it here, and for review, you can edit it and or view it. Going across the top of the tabs, contract log is just simply a note field that does date timestamps. So please ensure this gets paid ASAP. Once we submit it, you'll see it puts the note, who the note was from, and the date and timestamp. This date and timestamp is based on your local Microsoft 365 tenant time. Now, when we get to contract actions, part of the development, and I will come back to this in just a second, but part of the development is to go back and forth with reviewers of this particular contract. So if you look at this library, you'll see that there's different fields that we have here. And so we have a lot of the same fields that you saw within that form. You have the owner, the contract number, the department. Is it an auto renewal? And you can sort this particular library however you want. This is standard SharePoint. You can set up views. Give me all expiring contracts that are coming up, or the renewal date calendar, or all the ones that are active as opposed to archived. So within this, you can set up a review based on who do you want to have review this contract. Right now, the system supposes that the people internally to the contract staff permission group, or those that are going to be developing contract, will be managing this particular document. Now, there's several ways that you can set security on this. One is to set security on the file itself, which can be done via standard sharing of this and managing permissions for this particular item, or if they're in the staff group already, they have access to this particular library. All versioning is utilizing standard SharePoint version history. So if you want to know what's ever happened with this particular item, there is a history here. You can turn on major and minor versioning, so you can track it down to the minor version changes versus the major. This particular one is obviously done by major version. Once this has been reviewed and you want to send it out for approval, then we would come back to the contract, click on send, and you can choose as many approvers as you'd like, or one approver. So if you were going to choose one and you wanted to put, let's say, me in there, submit, this will date stamp it. This is when the approval was sent. I will have an email as soon as the flow finished running, and I have the ability to accept or reject this particular contract with comments. Once it's accepted or rejected, the flow will pick up and change the status accordingly. So if I approve it, it will change the status to approved, and it'll have a button that says approved and the date. If I reject it, the system will move it from waiting for approval to back to in development and send the contract owner a notice that it's been rejected and my comments on why. Let's take this through and we'll go to look at one that's been approved. So let's say that this was sent out and I have approved it. This is the document. It opens. You can set it to open in Word Online or Word for Desktop, whatever your organization requires. In this case, you can see that the approval was sent, the contract was approved, so it turns green, and it gives the contract owner the ability to come in and publish the contract when they want it to go live. Out of the box, the system doesn't auto-publish. What we do is allow the owner to determine when this contract will be published. Sometimes they get approval for contracts that may not be active for a month or 2 months later. The system doesn't presume that you want it automatically published. Once it's approved, you can see the system will change the status to approved, and this middle button will light up. The owner will get a notification. What they would do at this point is come in and they would say, I want to publish this contract, and they can select a date. They can select any date that is not the current date. So any date 24 hours in advance. Once they submit this, the flow will pick it up. So if we go in and we publish this and we pick, I want to publish this tomorrow, submit, you can see that the document is to be published on this date. So we try and give quick views as to when things were approved, when documents are going to be published or were published. This will change as well. If for some reason you can see it says cancel publish, you have the ability to cancel this publish event up until tomorrow at 12 a.m. in the morning. If for some reason there was a mistake and it shouldn't have been published, or it needs to be rescinded and something else needs to be changed, you have time to cancel that. Now, once it's been published, you can see that the status for this contract says published pending. Tomorrow at 12 a.m., when it's published, the status is going to change to published. So these are all the statuses that the system monitors. Published pending is where we just left the other one. Tomorrow at 12, it'll change it to published. When the renewal comes up for review date, it'll change to renewal in progress. That gives the time for the owner to make appropriate changes, and or if it reaches the end date of the contract and nothing has been done or the dates have not been changed, it will just now change the status to expired and send the contract owner a notification. All contract actions as well will be noted here, like we mentioned a minute ago, so you can quickly see when it was approved, what's the date, when it was published, and if you want to archive the contract, meaning it's no longer necessary to or active, we would click the archive and we would do this and click submit, and it would automatically archive it. This is the contract development library. Again, the information that's brought over to the employee side here, when a contract is published, it takes the Word document that's in the library and makes a copy of it and converts it to a PDF and puts it in this active contracts library. It will match up. It will try and match up. If you have folders on the other side that are legal and sales, it will put the contract in the same folder. So the flow looks to make sure if a folder exists already, and it will put the contract in the appropriate folder, or if nothing exists, it'll put it in just the top row. If we go back to the home page, that's contract development. From this staff portal page, this is the contract development. We can also get to it from over here, contract development. You can view active contracts from the navigation menu or here on the promoted links. Now, it's important to note at this point, the reason that it's all on the navigation menu as well as over here, what we call our promoted links, this is a SP Marketplace web part that we've designed, is because there are customers that utilize Microsoft Teams extensively. And so within their Teams environment, they would be able to see this page, and this navigation would be trimmed out. So we allow for staff and others to get to the areas they need to via these promoted links as the navigation menu would disappear within their teams. If we were looking at service requests, as we mentioned earlier in the end user, if they were to send in a service request, it will show up here on the unassigned service requests. So all service requests that come in, or any request that comes in, whether it's for a new contract or whatever the topic is, would land here. So there's visibility from within this portal for all service requests that come in. And if a person is responsible for managing them, they could simply open it up, see what the detailed information is of the request. At the bottom, they can assign it to whoever's appropriate. Now, this search box will go into anybody in the organization that's on the 365 tenant. So whoever you type in, it will default, put a due date, and you can change the status to assign. This person, Graham Cox, would then get an email saying that the service request has been assigned to them and that they need to manage it. You can view all service requests here and just click on them. Again, there are predefined views within this particular list for all service requests, my assigned, my service requests, any open ones, overdue. And because this is a standard SharePoint list, fields can be added by the customer, views can be added. All of this is customizable by you. We have given you full control over the list and adding to it. If you wanted to enter parties or milestones individually, that certainly can be done via that promoted link or over here under the parties menu. You add a new item, you'll see it opens up the form. And this is much like you saw in the contract development area where you would put the information, the contacts, any notes, and any attachments related to that particular party. There's a couple areas over here that we also, if there are documents that are related to the contract development personnel that are not necessarily contracts, but just documents, maybe how-to documents or need-to-know information, we have a document library here that those can be housed in. And finally, if you're in the admin staff, you will see this particular button light up, which is, when I say the admin staff, that really is the owners group. That gives you full control over the site. And in the admin portal, this is where you can set service request categories, you can assign permissions, you can manage those promoted links that I showed you earlier, whether on the staff side or the employee side. The other area that's vital here is support. If you need support from SP Marketplace, if there's questions you have about the product's functionality or the product isn't functioning and you maybe find a bug or something, you can send in a support ticket straight from the product. You can also go to our support portal and submit a case. You can view our knowledge base, look at any blogs that we've set out or any alerts that may be important for you to know in general on SharePoint or SP Marketplace or with a specific product, and you can sign up to be notified if we post anything pertaining to your product. That concludes this demonstration of the SP Marketplace Contract Tracker. Thank you for watching.